often do we really check in with what we want from a desire level? What do we actually really desire from our bodies? And the point of actually checking in with what our bodily desires are bring us motivation from an easier place, a lighter place. It's not coming so much from willpower, but it's actually coming from desire, from enjoyment, from a deeper level of satisfaction. Because so often we put pleasure and desire in that place of being frivolous or irrelevant or something that needs to be suppressed or ignored or really not given any credence to. But when we do give credence to our desires, especially our embodied desires, we can really drop more into our feminine essence. And we can really find that part of ourselves that wants things. And the energy of wanting can be really intense. There can be so much energy there. And so, can you give yourself permission to have some desires for 2000 that are just about you, that are not necessarily even related to your health, although they can be, but they're related to this part of you that really lives inside of you, that might not get a voice very often, in amongst all the other things that we should do. And the really interesting thing is, giving ourselves permission to desire can show us who we really are in a way that could be surprising to us. Sometimes that can be a little bit scary, but it can also be really rewarding. And it can also give us permission to find more energy inside of us, particularly if we can give ourselves permission to have desires about pleasure. Can it be bigger, better orgasms? Can it be more surrendered, open-hearted pleasure? Can it be more enjoyment? Can it be more spaciousness to actually feel pleasure? Can it be more about just being sensual and taking time to actually feel that piece of mango as you eat it and take it into your mouth and let it slide all the way down? Or can it be taking the time to really enjoy that piece of chocolate? Can it be taking the time to drink that water, that cool water from the fridge, and really enjoy that, being in the moment of your sensuality? The point of these things is that they give us energy, because often in life we're so busy doing, that we run out of energy pretty easily. And on the other side of COVID, I can certainly relate to that one. And what I found is actually giving myself permission to enjoy myself, even with a low amount of energy that I've been experiencing, is just really give myself permission to sit back and watch some crap TV on Netflix. The Flying Doctors I actually got into for a while. But what the point of it is that I really gave myself permission to really be there and really enjoy it. And that gave me energy. It wasn't just, filling in time, going numb in the mind and checking out. It actually gave me energy because I was really nurturing myself in doing that. When I had the energy, I went for a simple walk around the block. It took me about 7 minutes. But because it was coming from a place of desire, not from a place of should, it really gave me energy. And while I wasn't in a place to have lots of self-pleasuring, I was in a place to really be present with my body in a meditative way, and just to allow myself to feel myself and to breathe white light through my body. Working with energies, with chakra energies, with my breath in a really gentle way was very nurturing, and I'm sure allowed me to come back more quickly from COVID than I might have otherwise. So I'm inviting you to ponder, what are some of your desires rather than some of the shoulds? And when you're pondering this, give yourself permission to take time just to pause and just to be. Let everything else go way out of your head, and close your eyes Take a few breaths and really just arrive in your body and let yourself go blank and ask yourself, what is it that I really desire? What can I give myself permission for, even if I don't know how it's going to happen or what it's going to look like? What is that desire that I can tap into? And one of the other really good practices that you might desire to bring in is starting a gratitude journal, or even just a gratitude practice if the journal's kind of too formal for you. And when you're practicing gratitude, it's really very creative to actually tap into your heart, not finding gratitude from your head so much, but literally tuning into your heart, placing your hands on your heart and just tuning in there for a moment or two, or maybe even a minute or two if you're not that connected with your heart. And just being present and asking your heart, what is it grateful for? And you'll find again that the responses that you get can be quite surprising, quite creative, and can give you information about who you are and who you might choose to be. So really just finding that self-love coming out as an energy source from within you with these practices of connecting with your desires and connecting with your gratitudes. You can go into the formal writing it down if you would like to. And it can also be great to write our desires down. They did a study many years ago with some Harvard School graduates, and they surveyed them many years later, and they found that the ones who had achieved their goals were the ones who'd actually written them down. And that was really the main difference between the ones who did achieve and the ones who didn't. There's something really powerful about putting things down on paper and then to put into practice the steps that will take you towards that desire. But from a place of lightness, even dare I say it, playfulness, rather than oh yeah, I should. This is the power of the feminine playfulness, of gentleness, of energy, of pleasure, of desire. It's not the place of the egoic desire, which just wants more and more and more and more and is never satisfied. But it's the more embodied desire, which is coming from a truer place in you. Check in with your desires, connect with some of your heart's gratitude, and see what comes from there. And give yourself permission to discover something a little bit left of center, a little bit underneath what your controlling everyday default mode network mind thinks that you should do. There is a place for those parts, but there is also a place for this. Soft, self-loving, energized, playful, beautiful.